just start with the trees, you feel me? That make a lot more sense. Somebody said, what about volcanoes? I told you, volcanoes are the ashes. Volcanoes, hold on. I'm thirsty. I'm gonna answer what you asked me about volcanoes. Hold on. Now, volcanoes is a bit more complicated, right? I'm gonna try to get you to see what I'm saying. It might be a little harder for you to envision, but let's talk about it. So, the volcanoes are the ashes from the machines that were used to cut our trees down. Remember I said, hey, think about these trees, who cut them down and what they used to cut them down. I know what they used to cut them down, but I gotta walk y'all through this shit. You know what I'm saying? They use these big ass machines to cut our trees down. So, if you know anything about a machine, you ever worked on an assembly line, most machines that are used to like, how can I say it? Most machines where they might run like paper through, there's some, okay, imagine the little machines, the printers where you need to destroy paper, right? You take the paper and you put it through the shredder, right? It's called a paper shredder. And it lets out all the residue from what you shredded, right? And then all that residue is left and it goes into the trash can, okay? Now imagine a machine coming through, cutting down all these trees. So when they cutting down these trees, try to imagine like a giant bulldozer. All the machines they got now, imagine them same machines, but much, much bigger. So if you can imagine a giant bulldozer and how it works, a lot of these machines like that, like the paper shredder is a good example. Imagine this machine coming, knocking this tree down. But as it's cutting through this tree, it's taking in residue from the tree as well, right? So all this residue that's picking up from the tree like a vacuum cleaner, while it's cutting the tree down, all this residue builds up into the back of the machine. And then what happens is once it's through cutting down that tree, all that residue that was built up, it dumps it out right behind it. So majority of your volcanoes is the residue from these trees that was cut down as they ran through these machines. Because they took the trees and they used it for resources. They ran it through a machine, almost like a paper shredder, and they drained certain resources out of it. And these resources that they drained out of our trees, they took back to other planets, okay? And what was left was the residue that was left at the back of the truck, right? Like the shredder. All that residue formed a hill. So most volcanoes is in some sort of a hill. Now, because the machinery that was used, right, used the energy source, notice what happens with a volcano. It's always a buildup of what they say lava, energy that's already down there that it built up and spills over. Right, because it's all the chemicals that was used from these machines. So when the ashes and shit was dumped, everything dumped down, a lot of the chemicals stayed in the soil. But because the earth is alive and it was rising regardless, it starts to build up, bubble up. And what happened is you'll see all the heat from all these minerals that was in the machine and the trees that was cut down. You'll see all that boil out and spill out. And when it come out, notice how it comes out. Because it's still alive. It's still alive. Remember, it was volcanoes ain't number trees that was cut down like the ashes. You get what I'm saying? So that's why when most volcanoes erupt, boom, what they do, they be on a mission. It be like it's alive. It be the volcanic eruption knows exactly what it wants to hit. You feel me? Anybody know anything about volcanoes and the way they erupt and the way they work? They unpredictable. That's why they unpredictable, because it's a spiritual source behind it. They cut down trees, you know what I'm saying? So most of your volcanoes is ashes that are left over from trees that were cut down. Now, all the trees they cut down didn't leave ashes like that, but some did. Where that water at? But some did. And this is where your volcanoes come from. But guess what? If you can't see past the initial part that the mountains are tree stumps, how the hell you gonna see what I'm telling you about the volcano? But guess what? This all is based around the DEA. This is the hidden genetics that they are hiding about us, because this opens up the whole story to us. This is why they can't tell us this shit about the trees or any of that. It all leads back to the DEA and DNA. And that's going to be the difference every single time. It's going to come back down to DEA and DNA every single time. Even my locks, y'all like, oh, God, your locks get long. Yeah, because I'm getting all that photon energy. All that photon energy, and I'm vibrating at a high level. Yeah, I have certain thoughts that attack me, things that bother me, that attack me through the matrix like we all do, but my overall intended energy is on the highest frequency. So when I'm sitting here channeling with y'all and we vibrating, you feel that. But at the same time, that also plays a level with my ether and how it grows out. A lot of y'all hit me up, hey, your ether this and ether grow fast, this and that, da, da, da. But that's why though, you know what I'm saying? Because it's me understanding that, hey, I understand this is my planet. I understand my connection to the sun. So I'm going to channel that energy differently than a person that don't fully understand that. I'm going to be able to soak up I'm going to be able to use every resource on the planet better than the average person could that don't understand who and what they are. So this is why I sit here and I go through these conversations and we go through these lectures so that we can know who we are so we can move on that level. Even down to crystals. You can't really fully pull the energy out of crystals if you don't fully know what they are, how they operate, and who created them and why they were created. And you know what I'm saying? That's why we need to know all this type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? It plays a part with everything around us. But the DNA versus the DEA, that's a real thing. That's two different things. And if you start going into that part of you, they're going to have to talk more about the same shit I tell y'all. So you will be like, oh, damn, he wasn't lying. What? I'm going to lie. I'm going to tell you what you is. I'm happy to tell y'all we gods and goddesses because they told us we wasn't shit. You feel me? So I'm going to be more excited to tell you anyway. Of course, they ain't going to want to tell you this shit because they like, we took the planet from them. They don't know that. We got them right here. Even though the planet coming back to them, we going to make it a fight. Shit, we ain't going to let them know nothing without a fight. Y'all know how it go. But with that being said, man, I'm finna finish enjoying this vacation, man. I'm going to be on the website.